What's going on, everybody? It is Dr. Jamar Montgomery here of drjamarmontgomery.com. And I'm here to say F Young Thug. F Diddy. F all of these entertainers that have kept my community so distracted over the last 6 months. F all of them. Young Thug just negotiated a plea deal for RICO. And it is interesting because, when I was a defense attorney, I would negotiate plea deals for my clients. And to see that this man received, he'll be 5 years in, it's supposed to be 5 years time served, plus 15 years probation, plus 20 years on the back end. So he gets to stay out of jail if he does not violate his probation, his 15-year probation. I just think it's interesting because you have these rappers and these entertainers that do all these heinous things that are involved in all this criminal activity, and it's just interesting. You do criminal activity, and you need your day in court. You got to have your day in court. There's got to be, your due process rights have to be protected. Your constitutional rights have to be protected. The problem I have is that we watched what went on with YSL Woody and how this killer, this known killer, is walking around able to become a quasi-celebrity. He's known for hurting people, and he gets to walk around as a quasi-celebrity. That we watch how the government will screw people, mess up your life, take years from you with no remorse. And all of it is supposed to... Auntie B said, do you watch the news? They did a goat sacrifice. That's interesting. I didn't know that. Black people are in so much trouble. We're just in so much trouble. We are in so much trouble. We're in so much trouble. We don't know, many of us don't understand what our interests are and what we should be fighting for, what we should be advocating for. We don't know that. Then a lot of us are advocating for bad behavior. We're defending bad behavior. We're defending bad choices. And the thing is about bad choices is that getting people to know better so that they would do better. And when you start to understand that people will reject knowledge, that it's your job as a person like myself, it's my job to get the knowledge out to the people, but you just recognize all the people who aren't listening. Just all the people who aren't listening. How lost our people are, the conditions that they're in. It could be a little saddening. Boston Betsy said Trump. Hey, I'm glad you're voting. I hope everybody that's on this live is voting. I really do. Auntie B said nothing wrong with some African spirituality. Get out of here, you troll. It's just interesting. Who did a goat sacrifice? Oh, man. Black people are in trouble. Black people are in trouble. Black people are in trouble. Black children are in trouble. I don't have much to say, man. I don't have much to say. I'm I'm upset. Sandone said, "Are you from Michigan?" No, the M stands for Montgomery, and bet you my bottom dollar. When I finish, I gotta find. I lost my Apple Pen. I gotta get another one. I just do not like spending money unnecessarily. You start letting people use your stuff, and then all of a sudden it gets lost. I'm not gonna say any names, but let's see. Al said, "I voted early, but the M is for Montgomery. Mom is a household sir. Liberals give black youths, pimps, hoes, and gangsters for role models. Evil." Myra Reynolds said, "Why are you mad?" Why am I mad? Oh, here we go. Troll again. Carlos is going to win. Bruh, do you realize? Do you realize that we're just this country is in so much trouble. This country is in so much trouble. I got asked today at work. Just got here. What's the topic? Kiki Brown. John Skang said, "Every woman in the family is color. Every woman in my family is of color, pro-life, and vote Republican." That's a good thing. That's a good thing. Do you realize the number of people that fight me on this AB issue? The number of people that fight me on this. Boston Betsy, thank you for the likes. I appreciate you. I got asked today by a coworker. He was like, "Oh, who do you think is going to win the election?" And I said, "Trump." And he's like, "Oh man, it's scary." It's funny because it's a white guy. And he's like, "Why do you think that?" I said, "Because, the polls. I don't trust the polls. The polls aren't going after the new voters, and the polls. A lot of people are afraid to say that they're going to be supporting Trump, so they're not going to reveal that to some pollster. So the polls favor Kamala, but the polls aren't gathering all the correct information." The guy was like, "Yeah, you got a point there." So, when you look at the difference between Kamala Harris and Trump, it's just been very interesting to me to see the number of white folks that have been actually worried about Trump getting in office. That's been interesting to me. People say like Trump being unhinged and things like that. I always look at it with skepticism. Taylor Jenkins said, "Gotta love a country that's afraid to vote, to state to who they're going to vote for." Well, that's the reason why the ballot is secret. Kiki Brown said, "Which way do you lean?" I lean forward. That's the way that I lean. I lean forward. It depends. There's certain policies that I lean more. There's more. I don't even say Republican. I say that Republicans tend to vote for certain policies, and Democrats tend to go after certain policies. The Democratic administration has not been pro crypto. I don't like that, right? So, but it seems like the Republicans have been more pro crypto. So I like that. The Republicans have been more pro to Second Amendment, which I'm a big Second Amendment advocate. It seems as if Democrats are for police accountability and criminal justice reform, but I don't trust a prosecutor with criminal justice reform. I just don't. Somebody who has never felt the weight and heat of the criminal justice system is now going to tell me what's best for me as somebody that has been a victim of the criminal justice system. Nah, hell nah. Let's see. Mama, thank you for all the likes. I appreciate that. Boston Betsy Ford, only way to go. Absolutely, only way to go. Kiki Brown said, "It's a mixed bag you have." Absolutely. Sandoons, thank you for the like. Plugged in TV Studio said Harris for the win. I'm glad you're voting. It's a good thing. Because Trump has a personal stake in crypto. Absolutely. You got to advocate for your interests. You're absolutely right, Tiffany. Trump has a personal stake in crypto. I have a personal stake in crypto. My colleagues have a personal stake in crypto. So we're going after the things that are important to us. And that's the thing, is that you as a voter have to prioritize what's important to you. Right? You got all these issues. You got the LGBT issue. You got the immigration. You got Second Amendment. You got AB. You got the economy. You got inflation. You got tips. You got taxes. You got all these issues that you can look at. But you have to identify what are the ones that affect your pocketbook the most. What are the issues that allow for you to have financial freedom? And people are like, well, financial freedom isn't everything. In a capitalist society, if you ain't got no money, you're irrelevant. You are irrelevant. Nobody cares what you have to say. Nobody cares what you have to say. Nobody's going to listen to you. Cheryl McBee Bailey said Ford is the only way. I'm fiscally Republican but socially Democratic. I understand that. Plugged in TV says Kamala for the win. I'm glad you're voting. Do what works for you. Kiki Brown said do what works for you. Two-party system sucks kinda. Yeah, it does. Absolutely. B. Jerv said I vote for the Republican views. I vote for the current Republican views. Let's see. Food, living life. Just say you're a Republican. It's okay, sweetheart. But I'm an independent. And I'm registered as an independent, not as a Republican. I just think it's silly when we make a lot of these assumptions. But I'm actually registered independent. And if you want to look up on Ballotpedia, I ran as an independent in the United States Senate election in 2020. Kathy said Harris Walz 2024. Hey, I'm glad you're voting. I'm glad that you're voting. I'm voting Trump Vance. Plugged in TV said just vote Harris. Kiki Brown said I'm in juvenile probation, so I'm all for reform. Well, for those of y'all that don't know, that are new to my platform, I worked as a juvenile public defender in Cattle Parish, which is in Shreveport, Louisiana. I worked as a juvenile public defender where 80% of my clients were black and 60% of my clients were black boys between the ages of 10 and 17. I dealt with a lot of kids that were in gangs, had gun cases, a lot of robberies, a lot of burglaries, a lot of that. So I'm all for criminal justice reform. What's interesting is watching the prosecutors take a blind eye when cops would get up on the stand and they would get caught in lies. And instead of them getting charged with perjury and things like that, and instead of the DA and the prosecutors putting that police department or putting that police officer under investigation, they just swept it underneath the rug and kept on pushing. So yeah, I don't expect for Kamala Harris to be about criminal justice reform. Like I said, the Democrats, they talk that on a national level, but you can't have a prosecutor who she doesn't have a track record of holding police officers accountable. Living Life said, can't wait until Trump gives police full immunity. Well, Kamala Harris already gave him police immunity. Boston Betsy said, you're about to be a great leader next week. I appreciate that, Boston Betsy. Plugged In said, I have stocks too, but I'm voting for Harris. Yeah, I'm glad you got stocks. You should have stocks. I got crypto. Kamala is the only one who cares about us and not just the richest among us. You really think that? You really think that? I don't think that. I think that every presidential candidate actually cares more about their donors than they do about the voters. They care more about their donors and making sure that their donors are happy. So, put it like that. Mark Stein said, tough. Let's see. D-Dub, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. Mark Cuban is rich and voting for Harris. Yeah, because I think there were broken promises between Trump and Cuban. Kathy said, I'm a democratic socialist. I want health care for everyone. Okay, that's good. That's good. I respect that. Mark Cuban. Healthcare for all is my number one issue. Absolutely. I'm glad to see that. Kathy, why is that your number one issue? I'd love to hear that. Cheryl McBee, with 5 kids and working my butt off with 2 in college, I have to vote fiscally. That's real talk. That's a smart voter. You're voting your pocketbook. They've got stuff on him. Okay, how can you vote for someone who would make up lies about Haitians eating pets? Really? I'm not Haitian, and I don't care. That's how. That's how. I have much more important things. I have much more important things. Right? I don't care. Let the Haitian community have something to say. Oh, wait, you mean the same Haitian community that the United States provides aid to? Cool, not a problem. Like, the Haitians are getting something from the American people. I don't care. Trump can say whatever the hell that he wants to say. They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. Eat the cat. Eat the cat. I don't care. I do not care. That's not the issues that I'm running on. I'm not Haitian. I only have one vote. I can't vote for other people. I gotta vote for me. I gotta vote for me. Yeah, it's heartbreaking. That's all we see. Yeah, Kiki, you already know. Kathy said, I will never understand. I get voting for crypto, but Kamala's about deferred gratification. Smart choice, the only choice. Deferred gratification? Deferred gratification? What do you mean? I don't understand what you mean by deferred gratification. You been talking about how she deferred to not meet with Ice Cube and help develop the contract for Black America? You mean that? Kathy, criminal justice reform is always a Democrat issue. Yeah, it usually is. It usually is. I think we saw a change with Trump, though. No, she didn't. Stop lying on her. I'm not lying on her. Go check our record and see how many cops she held accountable as prosecutor and attorney general. Kathy said, my boyfriend is very much a Democrat and worked tirelessly on bail reform. Absolutely. I'm glad to hear that. You're literally saying everything nasty about Kamala. How am I saying anything nasty about her? Just stating facts. Let's see. How did Kamala give police full immunity? All right. For those of y'all, so that I want you to understand who you guys are talking to right now. And I got the greatest audience. Point blank, period. I have the greatest audience. The reason why you guys are the greatest audience is because you're inquisitive, you have your own thoughts and your own opinions, and you're here to learn and become. My job is to create more informed and more involved citizens. All right. So for those of you that are new, that are new here, my name is Dr. Jamar Montgomery. I am a former lawyer. Your favorite rapper's favorite political advisor, genius, entrepreneur, engineer, all of the above. I started college at the age of 11, started full-time at the age of 14. I graduated at 19 with my bachelor's in mechanical engineering. I then went on to work for the United States Navy as a weapons systems engineer. In fact, I was the youngest weapons systems engineer in the United States Navy's history at the age of 19. I did that for about 5 years, and during that time, I worked for the NAACP, or as what other folks call the NAACP, as chair of legal redress, helping people fight against discrimination, helping them get their jobs back, helping them file EEOC complaints. From there, I was working with my mentor. My mentor, he said, you know what? You should go to law school. You should think about going to law school. What did I end up doing? Going to law school. Went to law school. While I was in law school, I published a paper called Militarized Police and Unpermitted Protests, Implementing Policy that Civilizes the Police. This was a paper that dealt with police responses to protests. This was a direct response to the Mike Brown protest that we saw in Ferguson, Missouri. I wrote a paper that ended up getting published, and I also won a research award as a result. So I'm in law school, writing that paper. I then also get my MBA, right? Focusing on crypto. I bought cryptocurrency to Southern University, wrote papers, Gave lectures on it as well. Then after that, after I graduated with my law degree and my MBA, I then went on to teach political science at Southern University Shreveport. I practiced law as a public defender, as a juvenile public defender, and then I ran for United States Senate in the 2020 elections as an independent candidate. Pissed off a lot of people in the Democratic Party. And they ended up taking my law license 30 days before the election. 30 days. 30 days before the election. I didn't allow that to stop me, though, because 2 years later, I get a call from none other than Kanye West. Kanye West says, "Hey, Dr. Montgomery, I need your expertise with my school, and I need your expertise in my political campaign. Can you help me?" Me and Kanye end up flying on a plane over to meet President Trump. They often talk about Nick Fuentes and Kanye West. They very rarely mention me. But I was there talking about HBCU policy and crypto policy. I also have given speeches during the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland, both in 2023 and this year in 2024, and also was accompanying President Biden during the G7 in Hiroshima, Japan. So you're talking to somebody that understands politics, has been in politics, that has taught politics, and has been ran through the ringer in politics. So I said all that to say, let me answer your question just a word. How did Kamala give police full immunity? Let's give you a quick civics lesson. The top law enforcement officer in any city or state, in a city, is the district attorney. In some cases, the district attorney is the most powerful official in that particular city. Why? Because the district attorney can investigate anybody. The district attorney can investigate the police chief, they can investigate the mayor, they can investigate any public or city official. So, the people who you go to when the police violate your constitutional and civil rights, the people who can hold those people accountable are your district attorneys. Kamala Harris was a district attorney, but did not have a track record of going after cops who violate the constitutional and civil rights. And for those who don't understand what I'm talking about, the constitutional and civil rights, police brutality. She did not prosecute police officers who were involved in police brutality. She did not prosecute police officers who engaged in police brutality as a district attorney, and she did not prosecute officers who were involved in police brutality as an attorney general. So, when we talk about police accountability and police immunity, what's the difference between a politician saying, "Oh, I'm going to give police officers police immunity," versus an actual politician whose job it was to hold police officers accountable, actually giving them immunity by not prosecuting them? Think about that. Boy, please, they trying to make it like you care. Just a word, she didn't. He's lying. Okay, truth hurts. Trump trained straight to prison. That's funny. Love all things nerdy. Thank you for the follow. With you being independent, do you think vote is wasted? We know both the third candidate isn't an option. Third-party candidates are not viable for national elections right now, but I will say third-party candidates were viable when Bernie was running. But you know who did them wrong? The Democrats. Bernie actually probably could have beat Trump in 2016. But you know what? The Democrats screwed Bernie. And Bernie is an independent. Vote for Trump 2024 to save America because my mom died from financial stress due to all the ambulance. She couldn't afford health care. I'm sorry to hear that, Kathy. That's one of the things why having health care, right? And the thing is, people think, oh, well, if you're voting Trump, you're supporting all these other agendas. No, I know the particular agendas that I'm supporting and that I'm focused on, right? Would I like for there to be universal health care? Yeah, absolutely. And one of the ways that I would like that we could pay for universal health care is by stop giving all this foreign aid to countries like Ukraine and to Israel, right? And people say, well, Ukraine, we gave them old stockpiles. Yes, we gave them old stockpiles, but that's not like we didn't put in a new order to refill our stockpiles. So we may have given them $100 billion of aid according to, 2016 dollars when those original weapon stockpiles were built, but those weapons cost much more in 2024, and that the American people have to pay for it at current prices. That's the thing that they're not telling us, because most of us don't understand how accounting works. Just a word. Will you explain how she gave cops immunity? Party with Beyonce. That's sad that you don't care. You can't vote on one issue. Be open-minded and vote responsibly. Educational institutions. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Educational institutions are at stake if he gets in there. We need education, not it eliminated. The thing is most of them are focused on bringing the education, getting the federal government out of that. The end of MAGA is near. I don't think so. Trump won't do crap about criminal justice reform. Actually, he will. He got a lot of people out of jail. Check out the record she covered for incompetence to cover her own convictions. You sound like Fox News. Please read. I sound like Fox News? That's interesting. Let Fox News know that so that they can give me a job. No vote is wasted. People use their votes how they want. Others' opinions don't factor. And I will say this: a vote is never the only time that a vote is wasted is when somebody doesn't vote. Jason, Democrats are the problem. That was a question for the doctor. Cheryl, thank you for being the #1 gifter. I appreciate that. Thank you for the rose. I hear you though. It's not to disparage any vote though. Party with Beyonce. School Yay and Beyonce. Auntie B Dems are definitely the problem. I think just people who aren't informed about their government are the problem. Kiki Brown said, now I'm about to look you up for real. The law license loss had to hurt. Oh, it did. It hurt. It was like, oof. It hurt. It definitely hurt. But I wouldn't have had the boldness to speak out like I'm speaking out now. Law license. I felt like Shaft when they took his badge and he rolled up on some people. He's like, man, Shaft, you're not even a cop no more. And he said, you think that makes me less dangerous or more dangerous? And the guy had to stop and think. Think about it. All DAs protect cops. Harris is no different. Absolutely. Are the WEF and Davos really Illuminati style shadow group that controls everything? No comment. Are there elements of that there? Yeah. But you know they don't let real people like me in because they know I'm a God-fearing man. So I only get to get glimpses. I feel like Cat Williams. I go to the Illuminati and then come back and report it out to y'all. I'm not involved in all the other things because they know I'm a honest God-fearing man with integrity. Then Trump said he wanted to give police officers full immunity. I addressed that already there. Man got cut off yesterday. Good evening, my brother. What's going on, Kumba Lee? Kumba Lee. What's going on, Kumba Lee? Satori, what's going on, brother? Myra Reynolds, thank you for the gifts. I appreciate it. Cheryl Meadows, thank you for the gifts. I used to be a Bernie bro, but now I'm just insane. That's funny. Yep, that was a bipartisan bill, sir. Okay, yes, sir. Build businesses here and in return better benefits to USA citizens. Weapons, we can afford universal health care right now. We choose not to. I'm so disappointed in you. Oh, well, I'm sorry that I disappointed you. Stand in line. Let's see. They are making money on wars. They're making buku money on wars. Deborah Kirby, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. The Department of Education argument is smoke and mirrors. Okay. Mr. Got Plenty, you're more than welcome to come up and inform the audience. Heidi Solo, thank you for the follow. That's not the same. If a DA refuses to prosecute, there are still other avenues you can take to get justice. No, it's not. What are the other avenues? Just a word. You're more than welcome to come on up. Pug Wilson, thank you for the follow. Do you think Trump? Corey Betty said, "Do you really think Trump?" Yep, I do. Dr. Jamar, what are your thoughts on capitalism as a whole? I think that capitalism is an extractive system. Capitalism is the system of the world, and we need to play to win. Point blank, period. We could be mad about capitalism. We could be mad about all of it, right? But point blank, period, that is the system that rules the world, and we need to If we want to be rulers of this world, then we need to engage in that system and learn how to use that system for us, for our own interests. Um, I've never met I have never met anybody who has pushed against capitalism. The people of Black Lives Matter, they engage in capitalist activity but talk like Marxists, right? Yet they engage in a capitalistic system but don't actually engage in actual Marxist principles. Funny how that works. Kumbali, thank you. Trump will win. Absolutely. Capitalism is what makes America great. Let's see. America isn't great and was never great. It's powerful but not great. It's great. It's great. When I was over in Nigeria, I started to understand what all the things that made America great. In America, you don't have to worry about rolling blackouts as a normal day of life. You don't have to worry about that. In Nigeria, you had to worry about that. In America, you didn't have to worry about getting hit up for a bribe in a traffic stop. I had to worry about that in Nigeria. There are a lot of things about America that is great. And yes, America can be improved. Absolutely. 100%. The thing is that Black people in America, we like to stay victims. And what I mean victims is like, the reason why our communities are in the shape that it is because we don't have a sense of order. We don't have a sense of order. We don't have a sense of order in our community. Our criminal organizations, our street organizations have a sense of order, and that's why they're able to get things done. But us as a community, we don't have a sense of order. Our families are out of order, right? We have our men who are not stepping up and being men. And what do I mean stepping up and being men? Actually leading, right? And it's difficult leading Black women. It is difficult. It is a challenge. It is a challenge. Why? Because of the way that Black men and Black women have been socialized in how they interact with each other, right? In Black families, it's usually the women that run the households. Even if there's a man there, oftentimes it is the women who run the households. There's not too many times where you see that a woman is willing to say, my husband or this man runs this house and what he says goes. You don't hear that often. And you don't see it often. You wonder why the kids don't listen to the dad, because the kids are watching mom not obey and not follow dad. So why should they follow him? That's a real thing. It's a real thing. Explain to those that believe Harris when she says she is about to make federal legal how she can't. They can legislate it. But they're not going to get it through. They're not going to get it through. Means three kings. Kumbalai. Oh, Kumbalai. There we go. Means three kings. Mind, body, and soul. It just spelled that way in Aruba. I don't think he'll win, but I'm here to watch this show. She mentions if Congress sends it to her desk, which won't happen. Absolutely. Thank you for the answer, Doctor. You're very welcome. I believe it's a tactic. Perspective is everything. Explain Marxist principles. I do not understand. Traveling will do that. Nigeria, why use a corrupt government? All right. I went to Egypt. Much rather be in America. When I was in Switzerland, Switzerland is a mug. Switzerland will hold you at the border. Switzerland is a hustle. Switzerland is a hustle. A man who has no God in him will lead you to your death, like that lady in the Capitol. That's real talk. China, either you were very wealthy or very, very poor. I lived in Shanghai when I worked for Universal. S.D. Benson said, you feel the need to control women? I feel the need to control my household. So if there's a woman in there, absolutely. You cannot protect what you can't control. That's a real thing.
That's a real thing.
Kumbalai said, that's why I married my wife. The Moynihan report and Willie Lynch letter cover set the setup. You got nothing. Man, everywhere I've been, I wanted to come home. She's already in office. All the stuff she talks about, why she's not doing it right now. Thanks for saying my name like that. Thanks for saying my name. I like that. Sounds like a troll.
Sounds like I am. My phone's right here and I'm over here.
Sounds like a troll.
Is it?
What?
Oh, okay.
What are you talking about? I should just
Saying.
still saying it sounds like a troll. What are you talking about? She's in power. What's stopping her? But yeah, man. Your pot is Kumbalai said your pot is fire. You need a show. I absolutely do. And you know who's gonna make that happen? If you guys got ideas, send them to my DMs. Send them to my DMs. Once again, this is what I've been telling y'all. I have the greatest audience. I have the greatest audience. I have the greatest audience. Anybody that comes to hear my lives are usually the most intelligent, most insightful, and sometimes the most argumentative people on TikTok. But I'm happy about that. Why? Because it's about expanding our ideas, expanding out our consciousness, expanding out our understanding. Autumn said, I don't know about controlling, but leading, yeah. What's the difference between controlling and leading? All right? Think about it this way. I can lead a horse to water, but I can't make it drink it, right? I can lead a horse to water, but can't drink it. All right. Control, right? Control. Everything that goes on in my house, I need to be running it. Why? Because I'm going to be responsible for it. The thing about submission, people think of it, oh, submission is a bad. If you think submission is a bad thing, then you already got the wrong idea. I as a man, have to submit to God. I might want to do my own thing, but every time I do my own thing, not according to how God wants me to do it, things mess up for me. So is God controlling me? His word is. What I know he would want me to do, that's controlling me. I have free will, but I'm making a choice. I'm making a choice on submitting to his will. Why? Because I want to reap the benefits. I want to reap the protection of it. How dare I step out of what God says? I step out of submission for him and then expect for him to protect me. SD said, put your woman on. She sounds better. She's beautiful. She absolutely is. Followed, heading to bed. Moses, I appreciate that. Heading to bed, I appreciate your knowledge. I appreciate that. Mr. Got Plenty. I produce for James Cameron and Keanu Reeves. Look me up. I'd love to help. Most Def. Let's make that happen. Send me I just followed you. Send me a DM. SD Benson says submission is weak. That's funny. The creator's the collective knowledge. God is everything there is. I see you hiding behind submission. That's funny. I like you, SD Benson. I like you. But yeah. It's very interesting. Very, 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 very interesting. When you look at what's going on in America. Yeah. America is an interesting place. I definitely want to make sure that I give myself and my family's options. Mr. God Plenty says, sisters want authority with responsibility. They want authority with responsibility or without responsibility. Thanks for saying my name a lot. Put your strong woman on. That is hilarious. Control and lead are two totally different meanings. All right, let me hear it. Control and leading. Okay. Lead, control. Okay. As a leader, I set the example. Control means that I dictate what your actions are. Just message my number. I appreciate intelligent people. We need more voices like yours out here. For sure. Let's see what we can make happen. I made you and your woman laugh right. SD Benson, I'm gonna get on you. Why did Kamala tell someone they're at the wrong rally because they cheer Jesus is Lord? Seriously. I don't know. Prophetess Tiffany Montgomery, my cousin, said that she's a witch. Leaders make more leaders. Absolutely. Leaders make more leaders. And you know what's funny is that people they say, oh, control. Control. You don't want to be controlled. Okay, you don't want to be controlled. No problem. Do you want to be led? In order to lead, you give up. In order to follow, you give up some control. In order to follow, you have to give up some control. If I give up control, I give up responsibility. It's an interesting topic. I'm willing to have somebody come up. And have the debate so I can further refine my thoughts and ideas on it. If a woman leads a relationship, she's going to lead you to the end of it. Man, say that again. If a woman leads a relationship, she is going to lead you to the end of it. Oh man, truer words have not been spoken at 10:46 p.m. Where is... I am trying to get over this doggone... You know what? Prayer works, y'all. Prayer works. Baby, could you get me something from mine? Prayer works, y'all. For those of y'all that do not know, prayer works. Give me some tissue or something. My little fine ship is walking out right now. A true leader is someone you can learn from and apply it to your life. Yeah, real talk. I know I'm a natural born leader. And I find myself in situations where I end up leading groups. I lead teams. Thank you. It's fine shit right there. Pardon me real quick, y'all. Like I said, I've been fighting this. I finally had to fight it in prayer. And what do you know? I started getting better. What are you leading besides your woman hero? Lead teams. I lead teams. Yeah, my best friend was murdered. My father was murdered in May. Ooh, my brother died of an overdose. Man, I hate to hear that. That's a lot of loss, man. I hate to hear that. Congratulations on the daughter. Yes, he is. It is all life. But yeah. Yeah, they do. Death and life touch. You know, bruh. I'm glad I voted. And the government doesn't play fair, man. God gets you through the hard things so you can enjoy the love. That's real talk. That's real talk. It's hard keeping your eye on that when you're in the midst of it, though. It can be very difficult, very challenging. And I think that's where God's word comes in handy. Of always speaking his word into your situation, speaking his word into your life on a daily basis, hourly basis. Mr. God Plenty says sisters want a man to be responsible for them and not to have any authority over them. Man, say that. Say that. And when you run into a person like that, you run far away from them. Don't try to change them. Don't try to do none of that. You just get the hell away from them. It's anything my grandfather taught me. He was like, yeah, you get away from people. You just get the hell away from them. Hard times don't last, hard men do. Say that again, bruh. And that's like a mantra that you just have to continuously repeat, because life will have a way of going after those areas in which you weren't as strong as you would have liked to have been. And you got to get up and face those things every day. You got to go up there and fight those dragons every day. Myra said, if I say you can't go to the club, hold on, do women depress you all? Realizing the realities of a woman can be depressing. Recognizing realities of dealing with a woman. Absolutely. And something happens to you, it's my fault. Don't want to submit to my protection. Absolutely. Absolutely. You don't do what I'm telling you something for your own protection, and then it turned out bad for you. That ain't on me. That ain't on me. And that's the thing, is that, you know, people, they see it as is what they're thinking about is the men who have abused that power and abused that authority. But you know, when you're dealing with, I can speak for black men, when you're dealing with black men and you're dealing with a good black man, that ain't even where it's coming from. Mara, I'm not saying you're a child, but you make your children unhappy sometimes to protect them. That's real talk. Men make their women unhappy sometimes to protect them from bad decisions. That's real talk. That's real talk. You're not going to satisfy your woman. And you got to get used to disappointing your woman and her being upset with you. And you really have to like not care. And you're like, I don't care. Nah, I do care, but I have to take other things into consideration. Love hurts, young lady. Yeah. Anybody want to come on up and provide some of their perspective? Let's see. Invite. What's happening?
I'm going live. I'm in bed.
Oh, it's all good, man. I was just wondering, inviting folks up to say their piece. If they don't want to say their piece, they're more than welcome to leave.
Yeah, definitely. How you doing, brother?
Oh man, I'm blessed and winning, bruh.
You know, I was thinking because you worked with Kanye. You were talking about it yesterday. And I used to work for Cash Money Records, and I worked with Nipsey Hussle for a long time. And like being in the studio with him, it was like you would sit down, you'd listen to the things he was saying about God at the time. We were all young, And as things move forward and you start to lose more people, or you start to see more of the world and more of the loss, you start to understand how good we do have it in America, even though we talk, the way that we talk is all coming from like entitlement and our perspective is really like faulty. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And it kind of like seeing how the United States is acting right now. I think everybody should be not only ashamed of how we act, but also we should be coming together more and having more conversations about how things can, be better. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
Instead of fighting about this shit all the time.
I do.
Like even what you said yesterday was like powerful. When somebody calls you Uncle Tom, you're like, have you read this story? It's like Sambo was the one who was really like really betraying his people. You know what I mean?
Yep.
What was her name? Little Elma was the girl he saved.
Yep.
And I'm like, damn, like I sit down and I read all the time. Like if you look in my room, it's like books everywhere. I take care of my family. I build businesses. I, attempt to be a man of God every day, which being a man of God is hard.
Yep. It is.
because through the loss that you see, like when my father he got murdered in May, right? And I remember being like, damn, I need to really work on me right now because the gates are open for the devil.
Yeah.
So that's like where prayer comes in and where God really shows us like his grace, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's, love is lost and that shit happens. And I always look at it like my wife, we had a home birth. So she was having like this baby. And like they say that a woman goes through like 56 decibels of pain, and like the average human being can only like take like 46 before they die. So I'm like, life and death touch at that moment of birth, and you realize like how special everybody is to actually be here.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yep. I sure do. I sure do.
Yeah.
I sure
So
do.
I think it's important for, just listening to you. I was like, man, it would be nice to hear somebody like you on a podcast talking to people and actually like telling them, like, we're fighting over, apples and oranges. And the things that are most important are Americans. Like, if you live in America and I'm a foundational Black American. And I have this conversation with my boys all the time because they're like, oh, so-and-so's Black. I'm like, a skin color ain't what a culture is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, where we come from, our ancestors, our culture come from, is different than, like, a slave who came from, like, India, because there's slavery right now.
Yep.
But everybody has their own perspective of, like, what it is. And the difference between foundational Black Americans is they took away not only your God, they took away your language, they took you across the ocean. You didn't know anything about anybody. They took your family away. They put you on blocks and sold you in newspapers. Like, I did my family history, and my great-great-great-grandmother was a slave to the British in 1740 here. So it's like, I changed my name to Kumbalai Satori because it's like your mind, body, and your soul, you have to enlighten those things. And, like, you have to break those generational curses. If you passing down a slave name to your children, you passing down the trauma from your ancestors.
Yeah.
And it's like right now we got a real opportunity, all of us, to be like, hey, we can make a decision. We can live in our trauma. We can live in like all the bad shit that's happened to us, or else we can move forward in like the love of God and the light of God. And we can teach other brothers and sisters how to like really get out of that mentality of like the slave mentality. You feel what I'm saying?
Yep. Mr. Got Plenty. I want to hear your thoughts, brother. Thank you for coming on up.
Dr. Montgomery, I appreciate you giving me this opportunity. I really wanted to ask you about what do you think is going to happen after the election? One way or the other. I'm curious about what your thoughts are.
Bruh, that is a great question. And Kumbalai, man, thank you for your input too, man. What do I think is going to happen after the election? I'm going to still be Black in America. I think that there's going to be a recession that happens. The recession is coming regardless of who comes in office. It's here, but we've been able to finesse with the numbers so it doesn't look like it. We're already committed to what's going on in the Middle East. So that's going to continue. We're already in World War III. We're already in there. Just hasn't been declared yet. There's going to be this extreme and hyper focus on Africa, particularly in the Democratic Republic of Congo. There's going to be an extreme hyper focus on that because of the number of resources that are there. So we should be looking at the companies, the American companies that are trying to set up shop in the DRC. Particularly those that are focused on rare earth minerals like manganese, lithium, cobalt, coltan.
Those are all essential for those electric vehicles and all the new technologies that are coming out.
Absolutely. There's going to be a major focus on cyber warfare, drone warfare, and information warfare. what else? What else do I see happening after the election? I feel
Let me
that
ask you this.
yes.
I want you to tell me what you think. If Kamala Harris wins, what do you think is going to happen? If Trump wins, what do you think would happen?
Black men are in trouble if Kamala Harris wins. Black men are in major trouble if Kamala Harris wins. The reason why black men are going to be in trouble if Kamala Harris wins is because Kamala Harris has not been marketing or speaking to the black man until late into the election, which lets me know that promises were already made to other groups, and now we're just needed just to get her over the top. There's going to be a major shift in electoral politics if Kamala Harris wins, because the Republicans, the MAGA folks, all those folks are going to realize they have to take greater control over the state houses. There's going to be this major focus on the state houses, and then there's going to be a renewed push for a constitutional convention. And a
They're going to want to push for the popular vote.
They're going to be pushing for the popular vote heavily if Kamala Harris wins. If Donald Trump wins, you're going to see a major breakout in quote-unquote social movements. You're going to see the rise of Antifa. You're going to see them rise again, but you're going to see a level of, what would I call it, political violence that is going to be under the guise of protest. And once again, political violence, there's another name for it is domestic terrorism.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. Do you believe that people see the parallels between Antifa and the fascists that they claim that they're fighting against?
No, they do not. They do not.
I think that they're almost exactly the same.
I do too. The thing is that anybody that is willing to keep you from speaking or not allowing you to present your ideas in the marketplace of ideas is a danger to society.
Can I ask you a quick question?
Absolutely.
I was wondering if you could explain to people the difference between a constitutional republic and a democracy.
Oh, man. Okay. Oh, goodness gracious. You're bringing me back to my... I've gone over this a few times. Let me go back to it. A democracy, for everybody that's asking, is basically one person, one vote. Basically, majority rule. Majority rule. Constitutional republic is... A republic is a form of government where people elect their leaders on who they want to represent them, and those leaders implement the laws. However, with the constitutional republic, the republic is governed by a founding document that identifies the powers of the people and also identifies the powers and restrictions of the government. So, the safest place to be is in a constitutional republic versus being in a democracy. I am so glad that I do not live in a democracy. In fact, when people say we're fighting for democracy, what I hear is you're fighting for mob rule. When I hear people say we have to save the republic, I'm like, okay, cool. Why? Because we live in a constitutional republic with democratic features.
Yeah.
Democracy work for small groups, very small groups.
It does. It does. It does not work. I will say this. Democracy would work best in a constitutional republic if the people could vote directly on what laws they wanted implemented.
Yeah. You were talking about Marxism, and I don't think a lot of people know who Karl Marx was and what he wrote about. I was wondering if you could maybe explain a little bit of that too.
Brett, that when we talk about Marxism, I always think about Mein Kampf, and many people have not read Mein Kampf. And what I realized in Mein Kampf, reading his words, you would have thought that he was talking to black folks. And there's a specific passage where he says, now mind you, I have to give this disclaimer, what he did was evil, blah, 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 right? He said that whoever brought over Marxism either we all have to work against Marxism because of what it did to the German economy, or people who brought Marxism over into Germany were devil incarnate if they knew that this was the result. Because what happened in Russia, and then to see what went on with the Russian Revolution and what went on with the Russian economy as a result of Marxism, and then it being brought over to Germany, and watching how, you know, a million Deutschmarks couldn't even buy you a loaf of bread.
Yeah, I went to a museum when I went to school in New York City, and they had the wallpaper. They had like rebuilt a German house, and they were using the money for wallpaper to like insulate their house.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't worth anything when Hitler took over.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
It is.
And that was another thing why, with, you know, when Kamala, when she first came out, you know, I gave her a shot, like, listened to her and everything. But, like, a lot of the things that she was speaking were things I read, because I've read Mein Kampf, too. And I also, you know, I've read Karl Marxism, you know, theory. And I was like, man, she sounds a lot like a communist to me. I mean, just my opinion from what I know about, like, history.
Well,
supposedly her father is openly Marxist.
It's always been interesting for me because when people talk about like communism, socialism, Marxism, I'm trying to understand. Oh, and socialism, I'm trying to understand. Are you talking about it from political ideology, or are you talking about it from economic philosophy? And
economic philosophy is what I was more.
But you see how it's important to make those determinations, right? Because currently in our government right now, it operates like a socialist government for the wealthy, and operates like dog eat dog capitalism for the bottom 90. I'll say 90%.
Yeah.
So yeah. Mr. God Plenty, any final thoughts, brother?
No, I appreciate your time. Thanks for giving me this opportunity.
Man, I appreciate you, man, and I'm glad to have you as a follower, and look forward to seeing you on more of my lives, man, and hear more of what you have to say.
I'm looking forward to it. I'll catch you on the next one.
All right, brother. Brother Kumbalai,
Yeah.
any final thoughts, brother?
No, man, I think you just keep doing what you're doing, man. You're educating a lot of people. I love tuning in, and I appreciate you, brother.
I appreciate both y'all, man. I appreciate both y'all. Y'all be blessed, man, and I will see y'all. I will talk to y'all a little later.
Yeah, I got you on Monday, man. Like, let's set up a time. We'll get together and talk.
All right, sounds good, brother.
All right, brother. Good night.
All right, good night. Like I said, I have the best audience. The best audience. I'm great because of what God has put in me and the people that God has put around me in my life, like people like you that are making sure that, hey, you provide your perspective, you provide your input, you provide your different ideas. And look, I'm looking forward to hearing what people have to say. Let's see. Myra said, what? I may need you to teach a class for us in the back. Absolutely. Shout out to the doctor. Enjoyed this. Thank you, Tom. I appreciate that. You know, I want people, my goal is to create more informed and more involved citizens. It's the most important thing. And like I said, I'm going to be doing more of these. I'm doing these lives almost every day. And even after this election, there's a lot to talk about. There's a whole lot to talk about. And only because of y'all, by sharing the lives, by following me, by gifting me roses and liking the lives, that we're able to get this to more people. So I appreciate that. If the Democrats in Kamala are so great, why are so many Democrats defecting? Because people are recognizing that the Democrats don't represent their interests. And we used to give our vote just out of blind loyalty. And a lot of people are like, whoa, my vote actually does matter, because when I vote for this particular person, I'm in this spot, and when I vote for another person, I'm in a different spot. Myra, find a man worthy of your submission and follow his lead. We are better together. Absolutely. Tom Counts, thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. Slady J, thank you for the rose. I appreciate you. She said, boo. But yeah, that's the thing, is we just have to make sure that we are keeping our head on straight. And I always ask people, anytime that you find yourself getting emotional about something, or getting triggered by something, that's an indicator, right? Why are you getting so upset about politicians? Why are you getting so upset about somebody else's choice, right? Why are you getting so upset? Plugged in TV says, "Damn, you still talking?" Yeah, I'm. You know what I'm saying? I got mouthpiece. I don't need no iron. I'm already creased. I got plenty money. I got mouthpiece. Yup. So yeah. You know, everybody, I'm gonna end it out like the same way that I always end it out. Jesus Christ has changed my life. If you don't have a relationship with Jesus Christ, I encourage you to get one. Why? It has been absolutely transformational for me and for my life and for everything that I've done. He's forgiven me of my sins. He's allowed me to move past shame, move past trauma, and all of that. So I am thankful. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him shall not perish, but shall have everlasting life. I want everyone here to have everlasting life. Like I said, Jesus is the way, my brother, and he's made a way for me. I love y'all. I will talk to y'all later, and y'all be blessed.